What is going on, guys? The top 10 selections in the NFL draft. In a word, predictable. But things did get juicy afterwards. There were trade-ups, big-time reaches, some jaw-dropping picks, and more. Some of the most talented and polished prospects in the 2020 draft were unfortunately taken by teams that simply won't get the most out of them. Here are 10 of those prospects. And for fun's sake, we'll mention the team that should have drafted them instead. Number 10, A.J. Dillon, Washington Redskins. The Green Bay Packers already have 1,000-yard rusher Aaron Jones and a solid number 2 option in Jamal Williams. Can somebody please explain why they took another running back with the number 62 pick when they needed to address their wideouts and secondary? I mean, come on. Dillon will be the number 2 or 3 running back in Green Bay. Nothing more to say. This is a terrible pick for the Boston College product and 3-time first-team All-ACC selection. At least 20 other teams would have been a better fit for Dillon than the Packers. The Washington Redskins, now coached by Ron Rivera, could have really used this kid's talents. Adrian Peterson is a fun story and all, but a future Hall of Famer isn't a true number 1 running back anymore. Dillon could have moved ahead of him on the depth chart and provided Rivera with a workhorse running back to carry the offense. Rivera developed his fair share of quality runners during his tenure in Carolina. Number 9, Ross Blacklock, Denver Broncos. Bill O'Brien gutted the Houston Texans draft capital. With only 1 pick in the top 89, he left himself with little margin for error. O'Brien used his first pick, number 40 overall, on TCU defensive tackle Ross Blacklock. The first-team All-Big 12 adds more beef to an already stout Texans D-line that consists of world-class pass rusher J.J. Watt and the vastly underrated Whitney Merciless. Still, we're not keen on the fit here. Blacklock should be an upgrade over starter Brandon Dunn, but the Texans have enough run stoppers in Watt, Merciless, Benardrick McKinney, and Zach Cunningham. Can Blacklock really slot in somewhere and make a difference in an area where Houston is already pretty stacked? Blacklock would have been a far better fit for the Denver Broncos. Head coach and defensive guru Vic Fangio could have used him nicely to complement the elite pass rushing duo of Bradley Chubb and Von Miller. The Broncos also lost veteran Derek Wolfe in free agency, so Blacklock would have had the chance to step in and produce on that front 7 immediately. Fangio and the Broncos have always put an emphasis on pure run stoppers and guys who can wreak havoc in the trenches. Blacklock's talents would have totally been maximized in Denver, but with the Texans, we can't say the same with confidence. Number 8, Laviska Shenault Jr., New Orleans Saints. The Jacksonville Jaguars drafted Chennault in the 2nd round at number 43 overall. Now, we love Chennault the player. We just worry for his sake that the Jaguars aren't going to make the most of his talents. For starters, any player that goes to the dysfunctional Jaguars organization will always have a tall mountain to climb. This team never puts its guys in good positions to succeed. That's just how it is. Shenault could be a nice complement to 2019 breakout receiver DJ Chark and veteran Chris Conley. But as fun as Gardner Minshew was in his rookie year, we're still not sold on him. We don't think he's the guy that's going to maximize Chenault's talents. The 6'1", 227-pound Chenault would have been better off with the New Orleans Saints and their prolific offense. Imagine lining up behind Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Jared Cook, and Emmanuel Sanders. Chenault would have worked as a secret weapon and a nice role player in the Sean Payton and Drew Brees-led offense. Brees always loves his big targets, and Chenault would have been a nice deep threat for their passing game. Instead, he'll have to work in Jacksonville's rush-heavy offense as a number 2 or 3 option with an unproven guy at quarterback. So best of luck. Number 7, Jordan Brooks, Los Angeles Rams. With perennial Pro Bowl Bobby Wagner and veteran mainstay KJ Wright in the fold, linebacker wasn't the Seattle Seahawks' biggest need. It didn't stop them from reaching for Texas Tech product Jordan Brooks at number 27 overall. Just not seeing how Brooks can do a whole lot to help a mediocre defensive unit when Seattle is already wealthy in linebackers. They should have gone offensive line or defensive back with this pick. Looking around, Brooks would have been the ideal fit for the Seahawks' NFC West rival, the Los Angeles Rams, after losing the versatile workhorse do-it-all linebacker Corey Littleton in free agency. The Rams should have gone to work in finding a suitable replacement, and they didn't. The Rams used their first 2 picks on offense before settling on Alabama linebacker Terrell Lewis in the 3rd round at number 84 overall. We don't mind the Lewis selection, but they should have taken another linebacker with one of those 2 second-round picks. New defensive coordinator Brandon Staley has Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, and not really a whole lot else to work with on defense. Brooks could have been a special weapon for Stanley, thanks to his all-around skill set and work ethic. But knowing the Seahawks, they'll turn Brooks into a Pro Bowler and make us look silly for questioning this pick. Number 6. Harrison Bryant, Jacksonville Jaguars. To us Florida Atlantic tight end Harrison Bryant is one of the top hidden gems of the 2020 draft class. He has a chance to be a serious offensive weapon in the Cleveland Browns offense if all goes accordingly. The 2019 John Mackey Award winner and two-time first-team All-Conference USA selection went to the Browns in the 4th round with the 115th pick. We think there's a chance that Harrison emerges as the best tight end in this draft. Our only concern, how in the world will the Cleveland Browns use him? They signed Pro Bowl tight end Austin Hooper in free agency. They already had another productive tight end in David Njoku. And of course, Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. form perhaps the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. Not to mention the Browns are a rush-heavy offense with Nick Chubb, who narrowly lost the rushing title to Derrick Henry. So as it stands, Bryant is probably the number 5 pass catcher and the number 6 offensive weapon for Cleveland. How's he going to maximize his skill set now? He is certainly not taking all those targets away from Beckham, Landry, and Hooper. It's not a chance. Bryant would have been a better fit for the Jaguars. Doug Marrone would have certainly looked to build the offense a lot more around Bryant. He'd slot in as Minshew's number 2 pass catching option while contributing plenty in the run blocking game. Maybe Bryant wouldn't have produced big numbers with Minshew. But hear us out. What if they successfully tanked for Trevor Lawrence in 2021? That's all for another day, of course. We just think Bryant would have been better off with a more tight end needy team, and his talents would have worked nicely in Jacksonville's offense. Just hard to see how he'll produce much with such a star-studded group around him in Cleveland. Number 5. DeAndre Swift, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Detroit Lions drafted stud Georgia running back DeAndre Swift with the 35th overall selection. He has a legitimate chance to be the best running back from the 2020 draft. The only problem, the fit. These Lions went 5 years without a 100-yard performance from a running back, from November 2013 to September 2018. Yes, that's how sad it was. They simply don't let running backs become stars in the Motor City, at least not since Barry Sanders was around. Secondly, the Lions will always be a pass-happy offense with Matthew Stafford. Third and finally, the Lions already have a capable number 1 starter in Kerryon Johnson. Why spend a high pick on Swift when he's more of a luxury and not a necessity? Swift could have been way better off with the Bucks. In case you missed it, they signed Tom Brady and traded for another guy named Rob Gronkowski. I have to be honest, I don't know who they are, but they sound like they could be good. The Bucks rushing game, led by Ronald Jones, leaves a lot to be desired, throwing Swift into the stacked group of offensive weapons. That would keep me talking. Bruce Arians would have surely made Swift his go-to running back, and Brady has always relied on powerful rushing games to complement his passing skills. Number 4. Cole Kmet, Seattle Seahawks. The Notre Dame product became the 10th tight end on the Chicago Bears when they took him with the 43rd overall selection. So why overpay for Jimmy Graham in free agency if we're looking to draft a tight end anyway? Ryan Pace, got any answers? We don't doubt Kmet's talents and ability to perform at the NFL level, but the Bears, this team hoards tight ends despite rarely using them. I really don't get it. Explain in the comments down below. Kmet won't be doing much with Mitch Trubisky or Nick Foles, but imagine if he landed with the Seahawks. Wow, Russell Wilson would have loved Kmet lining up alongside Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. Seattle hasn't had a stud tight end since Jimmy Graham was there during the 2017 season. Kmet could have made an immediate difference, just like Metcalf did in 2019. At the very least, he would have done more with Wilson than what he's going to do with the Bears. Number 3. KJ Hamler, Green Bay Packers. We love John Elway's idea of giving Drew Lock as many weapons as possible, but he went a little bit too overboard for our liking. Signing Melvin Gordon to complement 1,000-yard rusher Phillip Lindsay was a major question mark for starters. Elway hit a home run when he took Alabama wideout Jerry Jeudy at number 16 overall. Now Lock had rising star Cortland Sutton, promising tight end Noah Fant, and the aforementioned Lindsey, Gordon, and Jeudy to support Lock. But taking Penn State wideout KJ Hamler with your 2nd round pick at number 46 overall, why are you adding a luxury when you could have used this pick elsewhere? Sutton and Jeudy will be the top 2 pass catchers. Don't forget Lindsey and Gordon shouldering much of the load on offense. Where is Hamler going to fit as the number 3 or 4 pass catching option? There is one team that could have especially used Hamler. That's the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers only had Devontae Adams as a reliable pass catcher. The Pack failed to supply him with a capable number 2 option in both free agency and the draft. Hamler could have been that final piece for the 2019 NFC runner-ups. How they avoided this positional need is beyond us. Number 2, Jeffrey Okudah, New York Giants. The Detroit Lions had a major hole at cornerback after trading Pro Bowler Darius Slay to the Philadelphia Eagles. Seemingly 99.9% of mock drafts had Okudah go into the Lions at number 3 overall, and they all got it right. On paper, it makes sense. They traded away their best player on defense, so they may as well replace him with the number 3 pick in the draft. Here's the problem though. The Lions defense was still still horrible in 2019. With Slay, how can we expect Okudah to change that when there's little support in the secondary, as well as a lackluster front seven and virtually no pass rush whatsoever? Okudah is going to be a great player, but the Lions aren't going to make the most of his talents. After running Slay out of town, would you really be surprised if the Lions coaches did the same to Okudah as well? The Ohio State corners, simply put, would have been way better off with the New York Giants. At number 4 overall, they signed veteran corner James Bradbury in free agency, and Joe Judge's defense is better suited for Okudah's skill set. The Giants have a long way to go, but they're certainly trending up as opposed to the Lions. Okudah will do all he can to fix this incredibly frustrating organization, but it already doesn't look good. He simply deserved a better team that will make the most of him. Number 1, Jordan Love, New England Patriots. The Green Bay Packers pulled off the most shocking and head-scratching move at the draft when they traded up to nab Utah State quarterback Jordan Love at number 26 overall. For starters, Love isn't exactly a can't-miss prospect like Joe Burrow. The skill set certainly isn't as high as that of Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa. There's a ton of risk in this pick. Secondly, why are you drafting a quarterback when you still have Aaron Rodgers performing at such a high level? Frankly, to put him in his place. I'm sure there was something going on between him and coaches, and well, the rest is history. You just gave him a record-setting deal 2 years ago. Now you're already planning for a future without him, right after he took you to the NFC Championship game. And thirdly, the Packers' biggest need was a number 2 pass catcher to complement Davante Adams. But nope. All they could come away with in free agency was Devin Funchess. They couldn't even bother to draft a guy in a receiver-heavy class to help Rodgers. So, where should Love have gone? The New England Patriots. Sure, the Pats have a ton of faith in Jarrett Stidham, but it wouldn't have hurt to add a quarterback with plenty of upside here. Seeing what Bill Belichick did with Tom Brady, Matt Castle, and Jimmy Garoppolo, you have to think he could have done some great things with Love too. Worst comes to worst, Belichick would have had 2 quality prospects to work with, Love and Stidham. I'm sure one of them could have fetched a very nice return in a trade down the road. Belichick didn't impress anybody that much with his draft, and though we've learned time and time again to never question the greatest coach of all time, we just feel like he missed out on the golden opportunity here. Love would have been a great addition if the Packers didn't take him first. What other NFL rookies were drafted by the wrong team? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. We post great content all the time. YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, we're on everything. Go find us. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I post videos sometimes. Maybe I'll post again. I don't know. But go subscribe. You should also subscribe to TPS because we post videos every day. Every day's a new video. And give it a like down below if you liked it. It helps us out a lot. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
My knee.